Good morning. Now you can hear me? One of these days I'll figure this thing out. Good morning and welcome to First Parish in Concord, Massachusetts. Whether you're here in person or online or watching us later on YouTube, we welcome you this morning. It is New Year's Eve, right? New Year's Day Eve. So a little bit early Happy New Year to you all. Leading our service today is the Reverend Laura Campbell. Reverend Campbell, she, her, hers, is a fifth-generation Unitarian raised as a UU in northern Minnesota. She was the first called minister at First Parish UU Church in Kennebunk, Maine for the last 9 years, and she serves our larger association by being a responder for the UU Trauma Ministry and by leading a secondary and elementary level Our Whole Lives trainings. Prior to becoming a minister, she served as a director of religious education and a youth advisor. Laura lives in Kennebunk with her spouse Jay and their rescued dog Maddie J. Beagle, who is very cute. Along with Reverend Campbell today, we have our special guest Nancy Ackerman. Nancy, where are you? Over here. And Eric is playing our organ as usual and will be on our piano. If you're online, please feel free to participate fully in the chat. And just so you know, we're going to be doing some rituals. So if you are online, we invite you to grab a couple of pieces of paper and a pen. And if you don't have a piece of paper and a pen in your pew where you are now, you should have gotten a little envelope. And you should have a pen for that, or a pencil. There's pens and pencils in the back if you need one for later. Okay, if you have any questions, if you're here in person and you have questions about accessibility, please see one of our ushers or our worship leader. And I'd like to invite those folks that are here to give a turnaround and wave to the folks online and let them know we're here. All right, a couple of quick announcements. Following the service today, we have our worship sharing circle in the Brooks Room and our coffee hour in our parish hall. I hope that you will join us for coffee. And without further ado, I invite you to stand as you're willing and able and to sing "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple."
So good morning, everyone. Good morning. Our opening words this morning are a tribute to Kalidas, a 3rd century Indian author of epic poems and most likely a Brahmin Hindu priest. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and realities of existence, the bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty, for yesterday is but a dream and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived makes every yesterday a dream of happiness and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. Come, let us worship together.
And I invite you to join in our chalice lighting, which should be up on the screen in a minute. O flame of our faith, open our hearts with souls. Sort of. All right, thank you.
The gift of nothing. It was a special day. And Mooch wanted to give his best friend, Earl, a gift. But what to get him? He had a bowl. He had a bed. He had a chewy toy. He had it all. Mooch thought and thought, what do you get someone who has everything? Nothing. He would give Earl the gift of nothing. But in this world filled with so many somethings, where could he find nothing? Mooch often heard Frank say there was nothing on TV, but as far as Mooch could tell, there was always something on TV. Mooch often heard Doozy and her friends say there was nothing to do, but as far as Mooch could tell, everybody was always doing something. Millie came home from the store and said, there was nothing to buy. So Mooch went shopping. Mooch looked up and down every aisle. He found many, many, many somethings. The latest this, the newest that. But as far as he could tell, nothing was not for sale. So Mooch went home. And sat on his pillow and just stayed still, as cats often do. And not looking for it, he found nothing. So he went and got a box and put nothing in it. Then Mooch thought, maybe Earl deserves more than this. So he got a bigger box. Now that's plenty of nothing. For me? Said Earl. Mooch, you didn't have to give me anything. Who told him? Thought Mooch. Earl opened Mooch's gift. There's nothing here, said Earl. Yesh, said Mooch. Nothing. But me and you. So Mooch and Earl just stayed still and enjoyed nothing. And everything.
So my questions for
The
all
gift
of you.
of nothing.
Oh. Once again, this time with meaning, right? So my question for all of you is, well, a couple of them. Can you capture nothing? Can you like reach out and grab it? Can you put it in a box? Any of you do meditation of any type? Can you think about nothing? Or of nothing? Have any of you ever gotten a gift, or even maybe it was something you got for yourself and you were so excited about it? And you open it up, you finally have it, you think it's going to be the best thing in the whole wide world, and then it turns out to not live up to your expectations? What happens for you all? What happens when that experience, when you sort of have the deflatedness of not meeting your expectations for a gift or an item? Someone want to raise their hand and tell me, what was that like for you? Disappointment. Oh, well. So there was sort of like a, move on. Okay. I'm sorry? A bubble popping. Yeah, yeah. Anyone else? So a little bit of shame or embarrassment. Ah, yeah. Yeah, so like, how could I kind of get duped into thinking that this thing was going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread? It was going to solve all of my problems. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? So as we go through the service today, I invite you to ponder this idea of nothing as a gift, and what it could mean and how it could impact or apply in your life. Paul, I think you're up next, right?
Yes. All right. Each month, we share the plate with an organization that is recommended by members of our congregation. This month's Share the Plate is with KIND, Kids in Need of Defense. And this is your last Sunday to support KIND, so I hope you'll be generous. KIND helps protect the basic human rights of refugees and immigrant children in the United States, many of whom come to escape abuses and persecution. The Hakimi family, a refugee family from Syria being supported by this congregation, has benefited from the services of this organization. Please consider giving generously to our offering this morning as we share our plate 50-50 with KIND. Thank you so much for your generous gifts this morning.
see if it'll come on. There it is. So when you came in, you should have gotten an envelope. And for those of you online, I know that Reverend Paul asked that you bring or grab a piece of paper, a small scrap of paper or something. So in the envelopes here in the sanctuary, there should be a small piece of sort of woven paperish. If you didn't get one, just raise your hand, or you'll also need a writing utensil for this part. So you may want to raise your hand if you need one or borrow one from folks. Okay. So this sort of woven paper here, it's not just any kind of woven paper. It's called foundation paper. Are there any quilters here? Folks that quilt? Okay, so those of you who quilt or do fabric arts may know the secret of foundation paper. This particular kind is that it dissolves in water. Now, this particular brand is, I'll admit, it's a new brand for me. I couldn't get my standard old brand, so it's gonna dissolve a little differently than I'm accustomed to. 12 years of doing this ritual, I have to apparently get something new and mix it up so that I can make sure I'm on my toes. So for those of you at home, any scrap of paper, a small scrap of paper would be fabulous. So what I'd like you to do is to write on the foundation paper or on your scrap of paper at home something that you would like to let go of this year. Something that you would like to let go of. And if you don't want to write on it, that's fine. You can just place it in between your hands and kind of imbibe the thing or the issue that you want to let go of this year. So think about things like maybe resentments towards certain people, restrictions or your own limitations, fears about anything, maybe money. The things that you need to let go of in order for there to be room for the good things to come for you this year. So put that on the paper, and what we're gonna do is have some music playing, and while the music is playing, do you have a certain way that you kind of orchestrate? Okay, great. So it'll be free for all. But just come forward, or if you'd like to maybe raise your hand if you want somebody to carry yours forward for you, and place it in the water. For those of you at home, while the music is playing, I invite you to try to rip that piece of paper up into tiny little bits. Just see how many little tiny pieces you can make out of that piece of paper. So everyone understand what we're doing? Writing what you want to let go of on the foundation paper. And then while the music is playing, come forward and put that into the bowl, one on one of the two sides of the sanctuary up here. Eric, are we good? Thank you. right by the time I'm done. So we'll check back with our water and the things we're going to let go of as the service goes on. I can see it's already starting to morph and change a little bit, but we'll check back and see what happens to the things that you all want to let go of and see how it changes and evolves during the service.
I want to make a correction. The Hakimi family is from Afghanistan and not Syria. Thank you for that correction. Our reading this morning is by Maureen Kaloran. She writes, "Not gold, nor myrrh, nor even frankincense would I have for you this season, but simple gifts, the ones that are the hardest to find, the ones that are perfect, even for those who have everything, if such there be. I would, if I could, have for you the gift of courage, the strength to face the gauntlets only you can name, and the firmness in your heart to know that you, yes, you, can be a bearer of a quiet dignity that is human glorified. I would, if my intention I could make it happen, have for you the gift of connection, the sense of standing on the hinge of time, touching past and future, standing with certainty that you, yes, you, are the point where it all comes together. I wish, if wishing could make it so, to have for you the gift of community, a nucleus of love and challenge to convince you in your soul that you, yes, you, are a source of light in the world too long believing in the dark. Not gold, not myrrh, not even frankincense would I have for you this season, but simple gifts, the ones that are the hardest to find, the ones that are perfect, even for those who have everything, if such there be."
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. So, how often have any of you been in the same state as Mooch, trying to think of a gift of something for that person that seems to have everything? I mean, really, Earl had a bowl, he had a bed, and he even had a Chewy toy. I mean, come on. What more can a dog want, other than maybe a puppuccino? So I think Earl was living a decadent dog's life. I bet he even had a ball and somebody to play with him. So such a dilemma for Mooch, and a dilemma for us. Anyone had a similarly hard person on your shopping list this year? Hard person to think of? I'll be honest that almost everyone on my shopping list was hard this year to buy for. We have an exchange student with us, can't take too much because she has to go back to Germany, don't want to get her things she doesn't need. And I went through a lot of gymnastics trying to figure out what would be the perfect gift for her. And some years that is the case, isn't it? That everyone on our list is really hard to buy for, or there's a couple of people that are always consistently hard to purchase. Other years, maybe it's a little bit easier. I think for me this year, what overwhelmed me was the level of consumerism that I was seeing, of the commercialization, or just the sheer amount of stuff that's out there. In the song, The Gift of Nothing, Michael Berner states, "When I hear those sleigh bells ring, it reminds me to stop and think, what are we doing buying everything? So much stuff. Often stuff that we don't really need, just stuff that we want. Because as Mooch found out, it's hard to find nothing, quote, in a world filled with so much something." I was excited to learn that you can actually give someone a gift of nothing. For real, you can buy it, a gift of nothing. I found it on Amazon for $8. So who knew that nothing was such a bargain, right? The creative and clearly comedic designers at Cub have mass-produced a gift of nothing for the person who has everything. It's a transparent plastic sphere filled with, well, I guess, nothing other than the atoms and the other scientific things that make up air, and you get the picture, right? The product description on Amazon states, what do you get the person who has everything? What about a gift of nothing? That's right. Nada, zilch, zippo, zero, diddly squat could be winging its way to you in the post right now. Excited? Experience nothing in all its simplistic anticlimactic glory and hope that next year you get a lump of coal at least. Nothing is a great gift to be treasured, they say. It's guaranteed to do absolutely nothing all of the time. Get a gift of nothing, a present perfect for any occasion, whether you're looking for that special something for a special nothing for Christmas, birthday, or Valentine's Day. Not recommended if you want to continue in the relationship. Nothing is the ideal gift. Great, right? Now, early in my relationship with my now spouse, Jay, I was asked what I wanted for Christmas. And after doing the sort of typical, well, you don't have to get me anything, I finally told him what I really, really wanted was a furniture dolly. Yeah, a furniture dolly. You see, I had been single for so many years and had to move things like air conditioners and 4-drawer file cabinets by myself. A furniture dolly would allow me to transport those heavy items around my apartment. Now, this request, in my opinion, was not the amusing part. What was priceless was the reaction that he got on Christmas Eve before joining me at church when he told the sales clerk at Home Depot that he needed to purchase a furniture dolly for his fiancée. She suggested that maybe it was a test, that maybe he had heard me wrong, or that maybe it was so that I could move his stuff out of our apartment. His response was, "It is a test. She wants to know if I'm really listening to her." Needless to say, he got me the dolly, and I was giddy and ecstatic. And I have to tell you, to this day, it is so useful, that furniture dolly. I use it all the time. I've used it at church, I've used it at home, I've used it to help friends. Nothing has surpassed the gift of a furniture dolly in my life. So last Christmas, Jay and I decided that our gift to each other was going to be a date. Yeah, we are now way beyond the furniture dolly stage, and we have reached the point in our relationship that going out to dinner is a special treat. But it was more than just that. It was truly staying still and enjoying nothing and everything, like Mooch and Earl did. It was giving each other, giving ourselves the gift of time. Time without email or social media, a chance to disconnect from our daily routines, to talk. But most of all, it was really just time to be together as a couple. My colleague and the co-moderator of the Unitarian Universalist Association, the Reverend Meg Riley, told me a story once. She says that her family struggled each year with how to do the gift exchange. They had drawn names, they'd done rotations, they'd done a Yankee swap, every way that you can think of to give gifts. And one year, Meg's father said, in an offhanded way, rather than purchasing gifts for each other, they should just go ahead and buy themselves a gift. I was intrigued by this idea, and I asked her to tell me more. She said that they set a price limit and instructed everyone not to use the gift until Christmas, that they would need to wrap it and bring it to the family gathering. Meg said that there were a couple of fascinating things that happened that year. First, she said that she had never agonized so much about purchasing a gift. She found herself asking, what will this gift say about me? What will others think of me when they see the gift that I purchased for myself? Will they make judgments or assumptions about me because the gift I was picking? Meg shared that she didn't want to purchase something that was too practical, but also didn't want to get something that was too frivolous. Even with a price limit, she wondered if the gift was too extravagant. Fascinating, right? The other thing that Meg pointed out was that she had never been so excited than to see what each person's gift was. She described it like having a little window into the person, getting to learn about what it was that they truly wanted, to learn about what things might make each member of her family happy. She said that in most cases, the things that folks picked for themselves were not things that she would have ever have imagined to get for them. In reality, it gave her a depth and a new understanding about her family members. Now, she also said that a number of her family members, particularly those that were socialized women, had a really hard time with this. That in some cases, they made excuses and justifications for the gifts that they had picked. They had a hard time not purchasing the very practical items. They had to be challenged to find the thing that they wanted, but would not necessarily buy every day. So interesting. And this got me thinking, what would I pick if I were given the opportunity to get myself a gift? What was the one thing that I don't generally feel justified in letting myself have? That thing that I so desperately want and need? That thing that will make my life easier, that will fill me with joy, that will make me smile when I think about it? What was that thing that I am most stingy about giving myself? And then I realized that thing was not a thing at all. It was nothing. And it was something big, very big. It was my own approval, my own encouragement, my own belief in myself. That the gift I most wanted was to offer myself my own friendship and loving companionship. What would that look like? What would it look like to care for ourselves in this way? Not in the narcissistic center of the universe, you all bow down to me kind of way, but in the, hey, you know what you're talking about. The, I believe in you, or the, I know this is scary, but you can do it kind of way. What would it be like if rather than looking to others for that approval and encouragement, we learn to look at ourselves? How might we feel? Would we be more confident, more self-assured? And how might it change the way that we see the world? Change the way that we interact with others? Maybe we'd be more forgiving of others and ourselves. Maybe we'd be more generous or compassionate. Maybe more loving in our interactions. And what if giving ourselves the gift of nothing and something, what would it do for our spiritual lives? What would it offer us? Those time outs, those breaths, those what my friend Cassie calls those pockets of peace that we so desperately crave in this world. Might that put us in a better position to support and help others? Now, my intention here is not to make us feel guilty for having purchased or given and received gifts this holiday season. In fact, my hope is that we learn to give ourselves those gifts that we do need. Nor am I under the impression that this gift of nothing and something is an easy thing to do. I'm pretty confident that if it were, I would have done it years ago. But I do know that it is something that if I can practice it just a little, if I can find that strength to give and to receive those gifts, I'll be better for it. I'll be able to share that gift of nothing and of something with somebody else. Because as the gift of nothing packaging says, nothing is precious, nothing is simple, nothing is sacred. Blessed be and amen. I want to check back in. Paul, could you check with the water on your side and see how it's doing? You're clear? I think you're clear over there? All right. So I have one piece that I think is actually a piece of paper. But other than that, I think we're pretty clear over here, too. So here's the thing about that foundation paper, is that what we wrote, remains in that water, doesn't it? That there's still some evidence of it, of the things that we let go of. Because we can't make those parts of ourselves completely disappear. It doesn't just magically evaporate in this world. But we can learn from them and then learn to transform them into something else. We'll use this water. Reverend Paul will help me find a place that we can let those things we're letting go of nurture the grounds here so that they're returned, those things that we don't need anymore get returned to the earth. So now it is your turn to give yourself the gift. And in that envelope, there was a blank piece of paper. And for those of you at home, this is where the sheet of paper comes from. I want you to write or draw or wordle, however you choose, a short little thing of encouragement for yourself. Something that you may need to hear at some point. Maybe you need to hear it right now, and so you write it right now. Maybe it's something you think you're going to need to hear in the future. And this isn't anything you're going to share with anyone. This is just for you. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to put it back in the envelope and seal it. Those of you at home, just fold it up. And then I want you to tuck it away someplace. Maybe you put it in a jacket pocket that you don't regularly check, or, at that stack of papers on your kitchen island, or, in a book that you only pull out every couple of months. Because what I think will happen is that you will find it at the exact right time that you need to hear that encouragement from yourself. So however you choose to do it, whether it's a picture or words, a little saying, whatever it is that is a piece of encouragement to you. And I'm going to ask you to do this in the spirit of prayer and meditation. If you choose not to do it, that's absolutely fine. Just please sit quietly while others are. And the music, we'll have some music playing in the background to accompany the experience.
That was fantastic. Thank you. At this time in our service, we celebrate the beauty and the wonder of community. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. We celebrate together the joys and sorrows, the trials and tribulations that we face as human beings, because we know that in our sharing we are not alone. I invite you in this time to share the names or the places that you carry with you in your heart this morning, all those who could use an opportunity to share our joy with them and our concern. I invite you now to call out the names of those in your heart today. Blessed be their names. I offer a prayer this morning from my colleague, Beth Monholland, as we carry each other into the new year. She writes, "In this new year, may we leave behind the weight of unfulfilled resolutions, of unrealized dreams and unrealized expectations. May we unpack the heavy weight of stories that tell us we are unworthy and unlovable. May we remember that we carry inside of each of us the spark of the divine. In this new year, may we carry kindness, gentleness, and hope that hold us through even the hardest days and the most daunting risks. May we carry the weight of memory that reminds us of who we are, and the weight of spirit that reminds us we are still becoming. May we carry the seed of knowledge that teaches us that improvement and growth aren't linear and individualistic, but are cyclical and communal. May we carry the wisdom to seek rest and connection, to lean into mutual care. May we carry the certain belief that when we have patterns of thinking and behaving that harm ourselves and others, we can seek resources that will help us move towards healing. May we carry the knowledge that happiness and success take many shapes, and one of those shapes is purpose. May we carry purpose lightly, trusting that it changes and evolves and surprises us. May we carry curiosity, wonder, and the ability to be surprised. This year, may we carry space for all our flaws, all of our longings, all of our love, remembering that truly daring adventure of life is not to be better, better, best, but to show up wholly, authentically, lovingly as ourselves. May we carry these prayers and carry each other into the new year. Amen, and blessed be the silence.
So may we all look for and find those moments in which we are willing to give and to accept both the gift of nothing and the gift of something. Please join me in singing hymn number 350 in the gray hymnal, The Ceaseless Flow of Endless Time. That's number 350. The words will be on the screen, right? Awesome.
I invite you to join me in our benediction. Go out into the world in peace, have courage, hold on to what is good, return to no person evil for evil, strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, help the suffering, honor all beings. Please be seated for the postlude.